Hey y'all, welcome back to our very bookish channel. If you're new here, my name's Amanda. Hi, I'm so glad you're here. And my friend Jen and I run this channel together because we both love books and we like talking about books, and we have all the bookish content. And in today's video, this is, in case you didn't guess it by looking at the title, is a reading vlog, and we are going to be reading The New Couple in 5B by Lisa Unger. Okay, now I was approved for a early copy of The New Couple in 5B from NetGalley, so I got it here. And I know that Jen loves Lisa Unger. We both read Christmas Presents as our secret December TBR pick, and we both chose that book randomly on our own, but we both happened to choose the same book, which was really fun. And I know that Jen really liked Confessions on the 745 by her. I have not read that book, and until Christmas Presents, I hadn't read Lisa Unger in a very long time. I read Ink and Bone years and years and years ago. But I am excited to get back into her writing. The story intrigues me. What I know of this is you're following a couple who's having a really hard time financially in New York City. They kind of have failing careers, and they're barely making it. Then one day, the husband's uncle passes away, and he leaves them this very nice apartment in New York City. It's very upscale, and they move in and things get a little weird, and they notice like they move in, and then they notice some really weird things about the residents and the doorman, and this building that they're living in kind of has a dark past with people getting murdered, and all of that information is in the description of the book. So I am just very curious to see where this book goes. But I'm really excited to jump into this thriller. I just got done reading The Ultimate Evil, which was a very heavy book, very nonfiction, and I'm just excited to get back into reading a thriller, and I hope this goes by quickly. So let's go. Let's start reading.
Hey guys, welcome to our New Couple in 5B by Lisa Unger vlog. Me and Amanda are reading this together. This book is broken up into acts. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and I think even the beginning says overture and has a Shakespeare quote, which I think is, I'm a big Shakespeare fan, so it's a good start. I've been looking forward to this. I love Lisa Unger, and I always say that, and then I realize I've only read 4 of her books. Well, I think she just made a big impression on me with those 4 books. The first 2 I read by her, I think, were my favorite. Confessions on the 745 and Under My Skin. And I read a couple more after that. We did Christmas Presents in the fall. I just like how she writes. I like the pacing. I like the twists. So I'm just a fan of hers. I think Amanda has read ones of hers that were much older. I do have a couple other ones from her that I bought in December, I think it was, when I was at Second and Charles, and I just haven't had a chance to read them yet. So I just wanted to do an intro before I start the journey for this new one, and I will see you guys at the end of Act 1.
Wish I could say I was finally over you, but that's not the truth. Everyone always keep falling in love again. What's wrong with them? I don't understand. Maybe it will pass by. Someone save me before I pass out. I'm too lonely to be done. I'm a drink at this page.
Okay guys, I have finished Act 1, and conveniently this book is broken into Acts 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Jen and I thought it would be fun if we both pause at the end of each act and kind of discuss our thoughts and what we were thinking. Now, all the time when we go into these reading vlogs, we never intend on discussing spoilers. And I try my best to not spoil anything. Obviously, that's the fun in books. I don't like to be spoiled anything. I actually don't even like knowing that much about the book when I go into it. I read the description on the back, and I really avoid Goodreads. I might look up like the star rating, or I might pull up the book just to put it on my want to read in Goodreads, but I avoid reading any reviews, and I avoid reading into like all the star ratings, and I especially do not click on the spoiler ones. But sometimes, especially with thriller books, and the whole reason thriller readers love thrillers is because of the twist. So it is very hard sometimes to not talk about the twist in these books. And I think it's a little harder for Jen than it is for me. But if we are going to discuss anything spoilery, I will put a spoiler warning on the screen, and I will also give you a timestamp to fast forward to avoid any spoilers. So, especially when we love books, we want to talk about them, but we do not want to spoil anything. We want all of you guys to get these books firsthand and read them for yourself and be just as shocked as we are when we read them. So, at the end of Act 1, you're kind of just getting more details about the situations that are already discussed in the description on the back of the book. You're meeting your main characters. You are learning a little bit how they live. You learn a little bit about the uncle that passed away, and you're learning about their move into this apartment. And it feels like in this book, the author is steering you towards questioning a specific character, but I know in reading thrillers that normally the character you're being steered towards, or the character that is being suspicious, is not the character in the end that is the suspicious one. So you are being led in a direction and being very skeptical of a specific character, and I'm just thinking, although this is weird of this character, I don't know if they're the one. I'm still only in Act 1, so we're gonna keep going and we're gonna see what Act 2 brings.
All right, I got through Act 1 and I am just about to go into Act 2. I feel like we've gotten a lot of information. We get a lot of information about Chad and Rosie, the married couple. You learned they aren't saying to each other, and basically there's some lies going on there, I would say, because omission is lying. And you also meet a lot of people as they go into the Windermere. And at the beginning of Act 1, there is a quote regarding Shakespeare, and it's from Macbeth. And I feel like, I don't know if this was on purpose or not, and I really do love Shakespeare plays. I fell in love in high school when we did Shakespeare plays, and I believe I did even more classes when I was in college. But there's a lot of blood that is referred to in this first act in many different ways. And then Macbeth also starts with the three blind witches who are basically foretelling what's going to happen to Macbeth. And I feel like some of that is also like you're getting warnings, and I feel there's a lot of parallels that may be happening or intended by Lisa Unger with Macbeth and what's happening. And I would say there's a supernatural element in Macbeth. And then you also see some supernatural things potentially happening in the Windermere. So I'm not sure that if that's the avenue she's going, but I'm seeing at least some symbols maybe saying that. And then I saw there was a quote right before, you can see Act 2 as you're ending Act 1. And now she has jumped to Carl Jung. And Carl Jung, I was an English psychology major, which is making this really funny that she's starting with Shakespeare quote and then jumps to a very known psychologist, Carl Jung. He's known for dream interpretation. He's known for personality archetypes. And I wonder how much of that she's referring to. I don't think it was just a random quote that she got from somebody, but he also believes a lot about the subconscious and how the subconscious plays in who we are and what our reality is. So I'm not sure if this is going to go down a supernatural path, or is this going down a potential subconscious issue, like a dream, or maybe because we're seeing this from the perspective of Rosie. So I hope it's not one of those unreliable narrators and there's something going on with her subconscious in how we're getting the information. And what I mean is she potentially going crazy and seeing things that aren't really there? I hope it's just not a dream. I don't know. I'm just throwing some theories out there, and we'll see what Act 2 brings. So I will see you after I finish Act 2.
Did you go? Where have you been? Have you forgotten of all the things that we were in? What did you do to numb all the pain? Have you moved on from all the love that we were made? I guess when
Hey guys, I just finished Act 2 and I'm using my little microphone because there's music in the background and I want to make sure you can hear me, but wow. Act 2 finished in a very dramatic fashion, and this book is moving along very quickly. It's a very bingeable book. If I had enough time grouped together, I would probably just sit and read the whole book in one sitting if I could. But it's been very interesting, and I'm really excited to get into Acts 3 and 4 because it feels like the pace is really picking up. Lots of things are happening, and I just want to keep reading. So that's what I'm going to do. I have about 20 more minutes before I have to leave here, so I'm going to read for the next 20 minutes, and then I will update you when I get done with Act 3.
All right, I have made it up to Act 3. In Act 2, there is a lot that happens, a lot of information that we get, both about the Windermere and who lives there. A lot of different things happen. Some of them tragic, so I'm trying not to spoil, of course. And you also are seeing from a perspective of someone named Willa who lives exactly in the same apartment that Rosie and Chad live in. And Willa is, I think it's 1963. And we kind of know something happens back then that may lead to clues till now. I don't know what to think about any of that right now. There are some supernatural elements that I'm still unsure. I feel like it's possible that Rosie is an unreliable narrator. And I'm not always a fan of the unreliable narrator. I feel like you are withheld information, which isn't always my favorite. So I'm taking that into consideration as I'm being told everything that we're seeing from her perspective. I think that from her perspective, sometimes seems like there's something going on there, and I think she kind of sees it too, but dismisses it. I don't know. I don't have a theory yet on, but something is going on there. It ends on something that, it ends on a murder. Well, you don't know if it's a murder. It ends on a death. Kind of unexpected, but I did see that coming. I have some theories as to what's going to happen in Act 3. I'm not going to say them to ruin anything. And one thing that I thought was going to happen in Act 2 did not. I was surprised when the person was still alive by the end of Act 2. So I'm going to go into Act 3 now, and I don't think it's as long, so I will see you guys shortly.
Hey guys, I have an update for you. It is the next day and I got to the end of part 3, act 3, I guess it's acts. I got to the end of act 3 and boy, there's a lot going on in this book. I am just really liking this book. I have not read Confessions on the 745 and Jen has, and Jen loved that book. So I'll be curious to see what she thinks and how it compares to that book. But so far, this is my favorite Lisa Unger book that I have read. And there's just so many good things, not good, but like exciting things going on. And I don't think I mentioned this before, but you're jumping back and forth, like not back in time on the main character point of view timeline, but you're following main character point of view timeline, current day, and then you're getting stories from back in the past of a woman that used to live in the same building that she's in now. And it's kind of fun. I'm not a big fan of jumping in timelines of the same person, but it's kind of fun to go back and relive the point of view of one of these characters from the past in the building, and it's kind of a fun way to reveal some of the building's secrets. So let's keep reading. I'm almost done. I don't have very much longer to go. The last part of the book, Act 4 is the last part of the book. So the next time I check in with you guys will be at Final Thoughts.
So wow, I just got through Act 3, about to go into the rest of the book, and wow, it ends on something that I suspected, but obviously there's still more book to go, so I'm not sure where it's going to go. But so far, I knew. I don't know if this is a spoiler. I just know. I knew. So we're going, there's not much, it's very little bit left. So after this, it's just going to be the final thoughts on this, but I am riveted. I can't wait to read the rest of this, but I will sit on it after I read it, and then I will be back with final thoughts.
Guys, hello. I'm at my library, as you can tell. I got a notification that one of the books I had on hold came in and is waiting for me. So of course I had to come and pick it up. And in case you're wondering, that book is Fathom Folk by Liza Chan, and I've heard like really good things about this book. I don't know too much about it. I just know it's a fantasy novel. There's humans and these creatures called Fathom Folk in it, and it takes place in an underwater world, like a city under the ocean, kind of like, I guess you'd think of Atlantis. And Fathom Folk are kind of like the mermaids or sirens and these underwater beings that live with the humans. So really interested in reading that one. Not that I need more books to add to my TBR, but I just couldn't resist putting the reservation in at my library for this one. Okay guys, I just finished The New Couple in 5B, and wow, I really enjoyed this book. Every single act ends on a cliffhanger and you just want to keep going. In fact, this last time at the end of Act 3, it was hard for me to stop and film my thoughts, so there's that. So this is my favorite Lisa Unger book so far. I haven't read too many. It's been a long time, except for Christmas Presents was a short novella I read in December. But other than that, that's my favorite Lisa Unger book. I really, really enjoyed this book. I am very curious to see what Jen thinks, because she recently had read, well, I say recently, but like I'd say in the past year or two, she read Confessions on the 745 and liked it. So I'm really curious to see what she thinks about this book compared to that one. But this book kind of gave me the vibes of Riley Sager's Lock Every Door. So if you have read that book and you liked that book, there's similar vibes here. The stories are very different, but same vibes. The setting is old New York City building, lots of history, lots of dark things happened there. The people that you're following have lucked into the opportunity to stay at these very expensive, very upscale buildings. The people inside the building are kind of weird, and it's just the similar vibes. If you liked Lock Every Door, then obviously this would probably be a no-brainer. You should go check out this book because it was really good, you guys. I think it's a fast read. It read pretty quickly, and I mean, yeah, that's like all my thoughts on it for right now. I mean, I'm just kind of still like this book, it's really good. So I'm not gonna say it's 5 stars. Really, I don't really rate thrillers 5 stars because they just seem to be fast, fun, entertaining reads. I really don't feel like a lot of them are like, give that extra like oomph that you need for the 5 stars. So definitely a 4-star read, but one of the best thrillers that I've read other than Frida McFadden in the recent future. I mean, this book was really good. So I'm really curious to know what you guys think if you've read this book yet. I know it just released, so I know a lot of you guys probably haven't got around to picking it up yet, but if you have, can you please let me know in the comments below what you thought of the book, because I really like to hear your opinions, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, or you know, you think something's weird about the book. Probably no spoilers, just in case someone who has not read the book reads through the comments. I don't want them to get spoiled on anything, but yeah, let me know, let me think.
All right, here are my final thoughts on The New Couple in 5B by Lisa Unger. Really enjoyed this. It didn't take me long to read at all, and there were many different things that I like, so let's get into it. I am a big fan of a dual timeline, so I really enjoyed that aspect to this book. You were getting a story from Willa in the 1960s, and then from Rosie's perspective in modern day. And I love getting bits in the past and it connects to what you're reading current day. There's something about that trope that I absolutely love. And I especially loved it in this book because I love seeing stuff that was affecting Rosie current day and you're seeing how it came to be. I do feel that I wanted a little more of that. I wanted more of the history, more of the backstory on some of the characters, but I feel like you were only getting a small amount. I don't know if it was cut or edited out, but I would have appreciated getting more of that story. Another part that I really liked was the supernatural aspect to this. And Amanda, you can decide if this is a spoiler or not, but I liked the fact that we were seeing a couple ghosts of characters you end up learning about. I won't say who, so it's not a complete spoiler, but I felt like you were almost led to believe there would be more of that happening in terms of like spirit, supernatural. She was writing a book, and though she was trying to write a book that was factual and saying that there were reasons why people thought it was haunted, but almost like saying it wasn't, she ends up experiencing some of that supernatural, but you only really see 2 ghosts that I remember. But I really wanted more of that. I am a huge fan of the show Supernatural, Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki, Dean and Sam, and I would have loved to see more of that aspect in this book. But again, it's kind of like dabbling in it. I don't feel like it overpowers the story at all. From some of the recording that I did while reading it, before Acts 1 and 2, there was a Shakespeare quote from Macbeth, and then there was a quote from Carl Jung, who is a famous psychologist. And at the end, at first, I was kind of confused because I thought she was going to make a lot of parallels to Macbeth. But now that I reread the quote from Act 1, I really feel like I connect to exactly what was being foreshadowed. And I'll read the quote because I don't think I read the quote in the video. I just had said there was a Shakespeare quote from Macbeth. So the quote says, "Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it." And it is from Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 5. And I feel like I know, and I'm not going to say because I feel like that might be a spoiler. And then the Carl Jung quote is, "The world of God and spirits is truly nothing but the collective unconscious inside of me." And I feel like that was more of an overarching comment. I don't think that was anything meant for a specific character. But I was laughing at the time, as you guys saw, because my major was English and psychology. So Shakespeare and a Carl Jung quote was, I think, right up my alley. I was very much appreciating that. There were many twists at the end, and I am always a fan of the twist. I felt like I didn't really guess. There was some of it I did, and then some of it I didn't really. It was a surprise. And so if you're a fan of the twists, it's definitely got that in here, especially in the latter half of this book. And if you like dabbling into supernatural, if you like dual timeline and you love thrillers, this book is definitely for you. I think those are all my thoughts. I'm always struggling with what to say in terms of spoiler or not. So anything I want to say about what you end up finding out in this book, I'm just going to reserve. I felt it ended kind of on an open ending, and that's something I had wanted to talk to Amanda about. I was a little surprised at the very ending because you almost feel like you get two endings, and then of course there's more twists that come. So I did really like the ending. It made me think of some things, and it felt a little open-ended in some aspects. So those were just things that you want to talk out with someone who has read the book so that you're not spoiling it. So thank you for coming along with us as we read The New Couple in 5B. Let us know if you have also read it and what your thoughts are. And until next time.